Mhm.
Yes, we can see now.
Good.
Yeah,
The host
perfect.
asks you to start your video, start my video. Is that okay now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, it's okay, Olga. Go ahead.
Go. Good afternoon, I'm Olga Spasic. I'm a senior counselor from the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is a specialized agency in UN system dealing with the promotion of a collaboration among member states based on the IP, say it in a broad way. I was requested by the organizer of this beautiful meeting, and I want to thank Hannity for inviting me to take part in the meeting. I was requested to speak about WIPO supporting tools and programs for innovation ecosystems. It is true that it might not be known that WIPO is spending about 30% for the technical assistance and collaboration with the member states, including in supporting innovation ecosystems through its programs and development tools. I would make reference to our Global Innovation Index, WIPO Global Innovation Index, which is now becoming a very well-known publication and benchmarking tool for the member states in 2007, because it provides a broad vision of innovation and gives insightful data on innovation to assist economies to evaluate their innovation performance, to do the benchmarking, and to make informed innovation policies and decisions about development and management of ecosystems. In 2020, it is our 13th report, where over 80 detailed innovation metrics were applied in 131 economies, which is 97.4% of the world's GDP. Why am I making reference to our Global Innovation Index? Because those 80 metrics are grouped in two big innovation pillars. One is innovation input and other is innovation output. This is with the idea to show how complex it is to create an efficient ecosystem on the national and even on the institutional level, because you have different kind of inputs which are necessary. It is not only investing in R&D, no, we need other conditions to have adequate policies, institutions, to have human capital which know how to deal with the ecosystems and how to bring ideas from lab to the market, infrastructures, including ICT, market sophistication, and business sophistication. Outputs can be either in a knowledge technology outputs or creative outputs. This is our guiding principle to support member states to upgrade, to create, to develop, and to sustain their innovation inputs in order to be able to harvest the better results and sustainable results in their innovation outputs. In this context, we are focusing on ecosystem pillars, our programs, which are going from awareness raising to very specific projects in the countries and in individual institutions. So we are focusing on creation of a favorable enabling legal framework, support for the human capital, development of skilled professionals, infrastructures, and market and business sophistication, dealing with the main innovation stakeholders, government, industry, academia, society. We consider that it is incorporated here, but we are mainly dealing with through innovation stakeholders. We are also having cross-sectorial approach, taking into consideration that it is necessary in order to support academic sector, to work with governments, which are the ones who are creating favorable preconditions for academic institutions to be able to fulfill their academic mandate, but also to add the third function, which is entrepreneurship. Also to work with government when we are speaking about collaboration between SMEs and academic sector, because it is government again who is supposed to create conditions, incentive policies, tax policies, funds for this collaboration. And in the same time, government should have input from academic sector and SMEs when creating policies, infrastructures, and other supporting measures. So all our programs are taking into consideration this cross-sectorial interrelation between three actors. In an implementation strategy, we have a basic support, which is awareness raising and capacity building activities. Then providing intermediate support, providing guides, tools, and user-friendly support materials for innovation stakeholders. And in advanced stage, we have project-based supports. More and more, we are working on a longer term projects, 2 years and more years, trying to reach all the time something which is sustainable impact and result in the area where we are working. So starting with the government, of course, we are supporting the governments to develop their IP strategies, innovation policies, but relatively recently, we started looking at the management of the assets that government as such, as a stakeholder, has generated or funded in the public sector in order to make them available to other, especially SMEs. And in this context, we are also working with IP offices, transforming them from registration offices to innovative agencies. We are providing forums where they can exchange best practices about what they are doing and how they are supporting innovation in their countries, but also providing them with specific tools, specific, capacity building programs that they can use without us in order to support innovative companies and also academic institutions in creating and transferring knowledge and technologies. Bringing IP to life via SMEs. SMEs are, of course, backbone of industries all over the world. Somewhere it's 92%, somewhere it's 99%, but still it is the most challenging part of the innovation ecosystem. We want them to become sophisticated. We want them to fully participate in the promotion of innovation and economic growth of their countries and development, socio-economic development. So we are working with member states in the development of their strategies for SMEs, how we are going to upgrade these SMEs to be able to use, for example, IP system. In all these ecosystems in our approach, we are not considering IP as the innovation. It is one of the linkages. It is a tool to make a connection between stakeholders, and that's how we are incorporating intellectual property in broader ecosystem needs. Development of strategy to support SMEs intermediaries, which are working directly with SMEs in the member states, training programs, industry product-based approach, analyzing in a different sectors of industry how the development of the products and cycle of a development incorporates IP to increase the value and to capture the added value in the intangible assets. We are also organizing study visits to SMEs, startups, and support institutions in Switzerland, which this year in our Global Innovation Index is the first innovation nation in the world. In this context, we have tools like IP diagnostic tool for SMEs, which is online, IP for business series of guides, IP issues for startups, guides for startups, and how to evaluate your intangible assets in order to provide funding. I'm taking out from this context IP diagnostic tool because it is interesting and relatively new tool available on our website, which is giving, it's a software which is giving opportunity to SMEs to first identify if they have intangible assets and then providing them with some kind of a guidelines how to use them. In the same time, we developed diagnostic guide for IP offices and intermediaries in order to be able to support SMEs in using this diagnostic tool. Here you have also a website where you can find it's simple, user-friendly, and it is, we believe, well-adjusted tool for SMEs to have the first-hand response to the question, am I innovative? We have numerous guides which are giving opportunities to SMEs to understand how IP can help them in upgrading their competitiveness and how they can benefit from IP. Here you have from design to franchising different very user-friendly and simple to use guides. Bringing IP to life, we are academic institutions. We are supporting academic institutions to stimulate impact-oriented use of the IP system. Use of IP system in order to have impact on a society, to respond to the expectations of their governments and the society, and to exploit to the maximum their research results for the benefit, again, of a society. I'm making reference to the presentation of a previous speakers, underlining that the role of academic institution is not forcibly to make income. It is impact still what we are expecting them. And it is always a question, very challenging question, how to measure their impact. So again, we are focusing on these pillars for institutional ecosystems, because we believe that even in academic institutions, the ecosystem should be developed, and they need IP institutional policies, meaning some kind of a legal framework for the use of IP system. Then we are enhancing infrastructures. We are helping in certain countries establishment of, for example, TTOs or technology parks, or we are enhancing their capacity to provide soft services, meaning IPR management services to their users. Development and empowerment of high professional staff. We are providing capacity building programs in different areas, and we are providing trainings and coaching for the beneficiary institutions in the area of IP collaboration and commercialization. In this context, we are, as I said, providing awareness, advisory services, and most recently we start with the long-term projects. For example, I'll make reference to this IP policy development in Egypt, where we are working with 30 institutions in the same time, helping them to develop their IP policies, assessment projects, assessing technology transfer systems in order to identify how they can be improved and serve better academic institutions so that they can respond to the expectations and investments made by the society and governments. I would mention something which is very broadly used by academic institutions. Again, you can find it on our website. It's IP Toolkit for Academic Institutions. It has 2 volumes. One is how to draft IP policy, where you have a template model checklist and a guide, how to draft a policy, but then in volume 2, how to implement policy. We have roadmap of potential actions, underlining that trying to broaden perspective of academic institutions, that licensing is not the only way for IP commercialization. You have collaboration, you have sharing labs, you have different ways you can approach your peers and also private sector. And then we have models of technology transfer agreements set up with the experts, with lawyers and with business lawyers and experts in this area, just to facilitate academic institutions to find the best model which they can accommodate to their need. And then case studies, which are set up specially for universities and R&D institutions to help them train researchers on a certain problems. So there are case studies where the problem is raised and then step-by-step solutions are proposed. This is for the training purposes. Institutional IP policy projects we are doing currently in more than 10 countries to help universities to set up right institutional policy, but also to help member states to develop a kind of a national model of IP policy, which will support dissemination of the legal framework and facilitation to individual universities and R&D institutions to set up their policy. Policy as such should not be given, should not be seen as only as a legal tool. It is a communication tool. Through your IP policy, you're communicating to the public. What is your mission? How do you really see collaboration with private sector? How open you are? What are the conditions? What is your policy? And the second thing, it's an internal communication tool to bring all users of that policy, all subjects of that policy, to understand where the mission, what are the strategies to implement the mission which is identified by the institution. So the strategy is first that detailed assessment of the national legal framework and practices. Then we are supporting member states to develop their national model of IP policy. Then we are providing a serious capacity building programs to sensitize local institutions and also those who are directly involved in a definition of a policy to understand what is the objective and how the best to approach this exercise. And then we have coaching sessions and finally collaboration with the relevant government. We are facilitating also collaboration with relevant government institution for dissemination of best practices on the level of a country. These projects are usually long-term, at least 2 years, because it's a really nitty-gritty work, and we are trying to support beneficiary institutions from the beginning till the end. In development and enhancement of infrastructures, there is a project which is, there are projects focusing on assess needs of TTOs, like was the project on establishment of TTOs in the Arab region, where, for example, we finalized this project in Tunisia. We created models of TTOs in four different institutions. One of them is well-known El Ghazala Technopark, where we supported Innovation Business Center to provide soft services to its inhabitants, businesses, and research institutions. We are also upgrading capacities of technoparks, for example, related to IPR management. There is a project which we developed with the Asia European Patent Office to support technoparks in the region of Caucasus, or support for creation of national professional associations. We are currently running the project where we helped on a regional bureau. You can see we are all the time promoting networking. Networking, focusing on individual needs, but then promoting networking on the national and regional level. And in this context, we are right now doing a project with three Baltic states with a similar economy, similar traditions, and with the joint, with a strong joint market to develop a network of their TTOs in order to promote not only their R&D collaboration, which is needed, but also to give them support for IP commercialization and IP collaboration. As mentioned before, we are upgrading the skills of professionals in this area by providing capacity building programs. in different, especially related to IP commercialization and innovation, because this is becoming a really urgent need for most academic institutions worldwide, from developing but also developed countries and emerging countries. The programs are available on IPR management, IP commercialization, negotiation skills, IP marketing. Our very well-known program on successful technology licensing, which is a kind of a training kit which we are ready to give to our stakeholders to do by themselves. And new approach is a joint academia and SMEs programs. We are considering to use education and capacity building to promote collaboration between academia and SMEs. I'm closing. This combined capacity building activities, we just started in the regions like in a Balkan region, and we recently had for GCC countries the first workshop in this area, hoping we will continue and we will develop some kind of a new approaches to bridge the gap between academia and SMEs. We have, as I mentioned, different kind of national projects for assessing knowledge transfer systems. Governments are looking for our support to assess what is functioning well in the systems in order that their especially research institutions will have more sustainable use of their knowledge transfer results. And in this context, we had, again, a project on establishment of a regional pool of IP commercialization experts, again in Baltic states, because we are working on a development of a professionals which can be used in their skills can be used in their countries, but also outside. And that's how we are promoting collaboration, IP collaboration between among countries. Thank you so much. I think I'm on time.
Yes, you are. Thank you for your presentation. It was definitely enjoyed that. And so with that, I assume we're going to have our next speaker, and that is ready to present. Good morning, or good afternoon.
Nikki, how are you?
I am good. I am good. So are you ready to present?
Mr. Nikki, who will be chairing the sessions. And now the second presenter, it's Professor Jim Downing. If you fix your problem, Jim, otherwise we can share the screen from us.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do here.
Can we share the screen?
I'm working on that. Let's see what we can do. I hit the share screen button and let's see what happens.
No problem, Jim. We don't have time, please, to wait. We